We're going to talk to the creator of a brand new kids podcast today, right here on More to the Story after this. www.freegrace.in. Well, hello. Thank you for being with me. I'm Kristah Kitchen, and this is More to the Story. If you're listening on podcast, be sure to subscribe on that platform or on your video platform if you're watching on video. Now today we have a special guest that I did an interview with just this morning, and I want to share that with you. This is Kristah Kitchen that we're going to meet, and she is the creator of a brand new kids podcast. So listen into our recent interview. I have a special guest with me, someone whom I live with. My wife, Kristah Kitchen. Maybe
hello.
Say hello. Oh, nice. Hello. Very nice. So we are going to talk about Free Grace Kids podcast today. Let's just talk about the show itself. What is the show? Like, is it for adults about raising kids, or is it for kids about having really tough parents, or what is the show about?
It is for your kids. And it's about just general spiritual concepts we have. We want to teach kids from the Bible. And since it's for kids, it's very short episodes. We're shooting for around the 5-minute mark. Some of them are less than that. Some might go a little bit more. But it is all characters.
We showed an early pilot of the podcast to a couple in your family, and who hadn't heard any of it. And they said, who is that doing the voices? Who did you get to do the voices? And so I think that's a great question. Who have you cast in this show? Are you like going out and getting actors, or what? What's the nature of the voices?
Well, apart from Grog and Mr. Lucas, it's all coming from these pipes.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm not sure that people believe that, because in real life, you and some of the other puppeteers that we've worked with in our ministry are very mild-mannered, and it's always the same voice, and so people have a hard time believing that you do this. So I was wondering if maybe you could give us a little bit of John 3:16 in Evan's voice, so that we can kind of get a feel for what he sounds like.
All right.
John 3:16 is my favorite verse in the Bible. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son.
Okay, now switch to, let's switch to Gus. Does Gus know John 3:16?
Gus has a really bad memory when it comes to verses
in
the Bible.
Give us Gus's version of John 3:16 then.
Okay, I gotta think a second to get in character.
For God, he loves the nuts, so he gave his son.
Now, Beulah's memory probably is a little better, right? Would she know John 3:16?
She forgets a lot of things, but she has, oddly enough, a good memory for verses.
Oh, okay. So what does she sound like?
Okay. Well, now God so loved the world that he gave his only son.
Well, so those are three characters. We'll stop at that so we don't blow your voice out before your recording session. But so those are three characters. Now you have had some other people on the show. You had John, your dad. What characters has he done?
He does Grog.
Grog is
It is impossible for me to do Grog's voice.
Grog is he's a really groggy sounding character, which is the perfect name. Yeah, so John is very very mild-mannered, but when he puts a puppet on, he's a different person. And so now you guys aren't doing this as a puppet show. This is an audio-only podcast. So we'll play this clip, and you get a sense of what the show sounds like.
They poisoned him. It's all my fault. Oh, come quick. Oh, I should call the snake ambulance. Oh.
No. Beulah. Deep breath. It'd be okay. Your cookies, not poison snake. Me sure your cookies not poison snake.
Sally, I haven't seen Gus in a while. Where did you send him? I don't know. I just drew a bunch of scribbles with a big X at the end. Oh, Sally, don't you remember what we heard at church last Sunday? Yeah, about that. Well, you see, last Sunday, Billy and I were having a competition to see who could blow the biggest spit bubble while the teacher was talking, and I totally won.
Forget about it. Here, have a banana.
How is a banana gonna help me right now?
Evan, this is not a tough nut to crack. It's obvious. You're so worried you're not using your brain. Bananas are yellow. Yellow makes people happy. Bananas turned on their side, and it looks like a smile. And finally, who cares? Just have a banana, see if I'm wrong. Now, I gotta go. I'm on a
Let's just kind of go back maybe 3 months. You've told me this story. You're in the car taking this kids to school. Where did the show come from? Because I know the story, but kind of lay that out for us so we can kind of understand what the background is.
Yeah, the car ride to school, it's not too terribly long, but sometimes you have to wait in a line, and so I feel like it's my little sliver of time before the kids are off to school and I don't see them for 8 hours or whatever. And so I wanted some way to help set their mind on things above and, maybe give them a memory verse that would help them throughout the day at school, and something that also puts them in a good mood in the morning. Because there's nothing worse than a meltdown happening right before they have to, okay, they're out of the car and they're gone and I didn't get to give them a hug or see a smile on their face. So I wanted to do something. Well, I looked for some podcasts, and there are some good kids podcasts, but I thought, well, maybe we could make one because a lot of them are pretty long, and I kind of wanted to have, one single episode that we could get through on the way to school and still have time to maybe talk about it or, pray for our day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, a lot are long, and some of them are they're not character based, right? They're just some of the podcasts.
Yes, most of them is an adult talking, and maybe there's some characters in with it, but it's like
at school they're going to listen to an adult talking all day, so it's like we want something different. It seems like. And
for the older kids, that usually does hold their attention, but I also have a couple of kindergartners in my car that in the mornings, and it's much harder to grab their attention with something. So we wanted to have it really fun and silly, and also giving them a little nugget of truth for the day.
Well, so tell us about the schedule of the show, and let's remind everybody how they can get it.
Okay, so you can go to freegrace.in. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, hit that subscribe button, and you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. If you subscribe to our weekly updates on freegrace.in, you'll get that as well, or daily updates too.
Yeah, you can subscribe for daily or weekly. Mm-hmm. So how many times a week is it coming out?
So we will have 3 episodes a week. That's our goal, Monday through Wednesday, to have episodes going up.
So if you got the daily updates, then you could actually have that podcast in your email so that you could play it for your kids. Kristah, thanks for being on the show today.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Obviously, the interview that you just heard and saw was edited quite a bit, but the full interview is about 30 minutes. We're going to release that. You can get that on freegrace.in. So if you want to hear more from Kristah, and I hope you do, you can get it that way. Now, I want to leave you today with a verse that she mentioned in her full interview when I talked to her. It's from Proverbs 22:6. It's train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So I'm really, we think about this pretty often in our household, how we ought to be training our kids. We really do think that this podcast could be a good start to each day that it's released, as a conversation starter between parents and children about faith. And that is obviously not all that you'll be doing in training your children, but we think that it could be a good piece to it. And we really believe that this could help parents and children out. So we hope that you take advantage of this really cool show. Well, thanks for watching. More to the story, and I'll be back with you tomorrow.